Today also will just be This meeting is being recorded. Going through the projects, etc. That we have. Um, I think I've received some questions on Telegram. Let me actually check. I think someone had asked me about an on ramp or an off ramp or something. Let me take a look. Give me a second, folks. In the meantime, I was checking. Yeah, okay. VGod has asked me how can you explain the Aptos on ramp project in the fellowship projects list a bit? Is it like a loyalty platform on chain? Okay, let me actually share my screen with the RFPs. One sec. Okay, hope you can see this. So I have this list as learn to earn dynamic NFTs, music NFT, poll, sorry to move photo to NFT, on-chain expense sharing, randomized slot machine, decentralized DocuSign, poker game engine. So I am not sure where this Aptos on-ramp idea has been mentioned. Uh, if anyone can share if there's where this Aptos on-ramp idea has been mentioned. Because this is the sheet that I have. Also, this name column, I don't think anyone else has filled this other than RAM in some project I saw. Yeah, photo to NFT. So I don't see this being filled by whoever is attempting which project. Okay, thanks, Ved. I think this is a different sheet because I have been shared a different sheet. And after this, from 11 onwards, some new ideas has been shared here. So what I'll do is maybe I can go over the newer ideas from 11 onwards, or discuss that a little bit, and then also we can take up and see a couple of example repositories, etc. That can make it easier to go through all of these ideas. Okay, so coming to the 11th idea, then just give me some time. I don't know who's we got, but whoever is we got, just give me some time to get to this particular ideas, and then I can explain what the way that you can basically think around this. Uh, okay, I think someone just deleted what was here on 12th. Can you add? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's go over this one by one. So, 11th is AI art, NFTs, and game. So it's saying artificial intelligence is the machine software, blah blah blah. Changing game and using blockchain technology, NFTs give digital assets a unique identity and a tangible real world value. Make it possible for gamers to take the skins out of a gaming character into every game they play. Okay, this is a bit unclear. I think it's kind of like an open prompt. So, okay, there's some total over here as well. Okay, so this is like an open prompt, so I would not get into this, like how we can think around this. Okay, I'll do one thing. Um, okay, let me actually just copy these newer ideas and paste it back in this sheet. Yeah. Uh, uh, okay, so I'll just add what I feel it's like I've done for the other ones. I'll edit it back these things that have been moved to the left. I'll edit it back once we are done with these ideas. But yeah, so that you have the context on how you can think about building this. So first thing that I wanted to think of is any sort of visual GPT APIs that you can get, like what basically Mid Journey, etc. are using. Mid Journey, Dolly, all of these are using. If you can get a hold of that, then next thing is basically your simple. So think of it from, like, I'm just throwing some ideas. Intent or prompt to NFT. Okay, so we have already the photo to NFT idea, correct? So this will just be 1 plus 1 level on this, where instead of this you're doing an intent to NFT prompt. They have also mentioned gaming as a theme here. So what you can also think of is the prompts, etc., that you're providing. Right. Maybe you can, because they mentioned gaming and then they have also mentioned trading and portability over here. Right. There are two things that they have mentioned after talking about gaming, and then some gaming characters, skins, avatars, etc. So you can think of it from display also that uh, after creating the NFT from the intent, maybe intent you can give some examples. Okay, intent can be based on some particular gaming themes. Let's say CS or NFS or GTA or whatever. Okay, and then after that, after, like, based on those gaming themes, there are like things that there's some particular prompt that you're already kind of appending in your intent. Okay, so if someone is, after selecting this theme, if someone is typing something like car, then it should essentially become GTA car, a GTA visual car, something like this. Okay, so you're essentially appending this theme to your prompt, to your intent, and then you're generating the image, and then you are getting the NFT. Then the second aspect of it is tradable, right? So you can think of linking it with the possibility of listing. If you remember last time also we discussed that you can give them some options, on options, which are basically all of these NFT marketplaces where you make a call on their smart contract, like list function with whatever information is required, and you can basically go ahead and list these particular NFTs over there. So essentially, you're also adding that readability aspect over here by letting them do this and then coming in and then listing. Okay. Okay. Now let's move to the next idea. Let me actually wrap this. Yep, better. Okay, so next idea is basically talking about a transparent donation tracking. A blockchain platform for charitable organizations to track donations transparently. Donors can see exactly how their contributions are used and verify that funds reach their intended beneficiaries. This increases trust in charitable organizations and encourages more donations for social causes. Okay, so here you can think of this. From a perspective of okay, sorry, yeah, from a perspective of like, if I talk on the smart contract level, you will have basically, again, make taking that same comparison of the to-do list, you will have a list of donation proposals. Let's say take a list of proposals. Each proposal is struck, and it can have certain, like, attributes, certain with certain attributes, like donation goal, expiry, uh, name, name, description, etc. Okay. whatever might be required. You can add like a lot more. What you can look at is basically other non-profit sites for inspiration and how they are doing it, correct? And then what you can have is basically some functions to do donate, um, right, those functions. One can be to donate, one can be to check goal uh, progress, that is like how much of it has already been filled. One can be to mark complete or close round, close donation round, uh, something else, whatever. Okay. So then what you have to talk about here is exactly see how their contributions are used. Yeah. So after that, what we can think of it is after this whole donation, this particular account has received, let's say, $25,000 of donation. From this account, where is the money moving? Okay. And you can, if you have to like make it something like very interesting, you can think from something like uh, showing people like something that can enable them to understand whether this particular whoever is initiating this donation round, some organization or some individual, whether they are actually legit or if they are a scammy project or whatever. And the way that you can do is that after the whole round is complete, or howsoever you want to structure it, you can do something like withdrawal. The withdrawal function for this withdrawal function can be crafted smartly. Okay, this is, I think, the part that you can really apply. Meaning that maybe the donors get to vote to move the funds, or you can apply certain locks over here. Apply certain locks. So you can say maximum only 10%, only 10% of the funds can be moved at time, or you can say it can be moved only to whitelisted addresses, or you can create something along these lines. So instead of moving all of this money to the donor's account directly, you can have like account in between, where you are basically doing something like only based on milestones or only based on certain things is when the funds are released. And the funds are only released, let's say, 10% each time, so there is accountability. Like, the person cannot just very quickly move the 100% or 90% of the funds and then move it to some other trail of accounts, and you can't be able to track it because this is the way that he has structured it. And then you're showing that it should only be moved to certain whitelisted addresses, which again can be something that the donors can together decide. So this is the way you can structure out a crowdfunding application. You can actually read some research around what are the different ways like people try to scam or on all these crowdfunding platforms, and then you can try to actually create something that would not allow them to do that in this particular case. Okay. So yeah, and then you can also think of some rating or review method that can enable to establish trust in future rounds for that particular org. Okay, so this is one way that you can think on this. Give me a second. Okay. So the next idea that is mentioned here is a blockchain-based crowdfunding launchpad allows investors to support early-stage startups and receive a share of the annual revenue generated by the protocol in proportion to the investment. Okay. So again, this is kind of similar to the idea that we just discussed above. We are looking at like crowdfunding. So similar concept as hashtag 13. So you can just create a list of orgs with some goal, some base goal. Only difference is once someone invest, they get some contract in return. You can actually use Aptos sign idea over here as well. If someone is building, you can just ask them to plug it in this idea, plug it in this idea. Okay, this is like some contract in return which says that you'll get this much in equity or whatever. Um, there are some folks who use different instruments to maintain this as well. Like on blockchain, also you can create some sort of a smart contract instrument that shows that like there's 100% of a particular token or something, and then people get some particular shares of it depending on whatever amount they have invested. So you can also do that, like a token with 100 whatever supply, and then partial distribution to mark ownership, mark equity in the company. Okay, in the company. So, but all that being said, the contractual thing is also quite necessary from a legal standpoint. Like companies require like safe or SAFT agreements to show that they are actually people are actually shareholders of the company, right? So that is there, and then and receive a share of the annual revenue generated by the protocol in proportion to their investment. So this would happen when companies would have to basically file their annual revenue. Organization will file annual revenue. Based on that, based on the token ownership, uh, donors, not donors here, investors uh, get the funds. Here again, I am not 100% sure on how the receiving of the share of the annual revenue would happen, in the sense that what is the data sharing mechanism here, who, like, how are the declaration of the income generated happening on the side of the company. So I would advise you folks to read on if there is some formal standard or something that does that. And if that is the case, then how can the shareholders get it without the company sort of like if today some company decides that okay, I made some 1 million in ARR, but I do not want to give it to my investors or whatever, then is there a way to, like, because we are talking about everything on a blockchain solution, obviously legally there would be enough things to make sure that if something goes wrong, people can just file cases. But is there a way to build some sort of like an escrow or some sort of like a instrument from a contractual point of view that can enable people to mark this and also automatically pay it out to the investors? So that is a question that I also have. There is like some sort of yeah, some sort of like ideation that needs to be done here. So yeah, I would just leave it at that. Okay, so the next idea talks about Aptos on ramp. Yeah, this is basically, I guess, what VGod was also asking. A platform for user adoption, a service to onboard new users by claiming rewards on behalf of users and transferring them to users. Okay. It will activate new users' wallet on the Aptos chain, and users can interact with the ecosystem without depositing funds to their wallet from a centralized exchange to pay for the gas fee. Okay. Um, let's try to break this down one by one. Talking about onboarding new users by claiming rewards, and then in the next line they're saying will activate new users wallet on the Aptos chain. Users can interact with the ecosystem without depositing funds to their wallet from a centralized exchange to pay for the gas fees. Okay. Uh, so yeah, I think actually this is a very confusing description. Uh, but okay, from my understanding, maybe Fauzi or someone else can actually confirm it from the team as well. But from my understanding, I would say this is like a onboarding tool. Onboarding tool, although the way it's phrased, it's kind of ambiguous, but I would say it's an onboarding tool. And the purpose can be, you can think of it that maybe you can make, maybe maybe create uh, an auth based on email plus a quiz on Aptos or some task to verify that it's not a bot account. And if people are able to complete that, then they get some rewards on Aptos, let's say 0.0001 app or something. And this is actual. There's this. Wait, I think I lost it for a second. Okay, hi. I can actually see that Shashank has mentioned that he has added this idea. I started overmind plus one move and hmm. Ah, okay. Right. I think I'm pretty much explaining the same thing, Sashang. But yeah, the name of this particular thing basically threw me off because this talks about on ramp. So on ramp, off ramp services. That's how I started thinking about it. But yeah, that makes complete sense. So you can think of it as 0.001 app. I will actually copy paste also what you have written here, if you don't mind, because that can enable people to understand. And also, uh, okay, so you folks can connect with Sashank if you're interested to build out with this with him. But yeah, so quiz and apto some tasks. Yeah, so you will get the 0.001 app, which you can use something that's Blockto. Blockto is basically like Web3 auth, where you can through email get an account created, get an Aptos account created. So without, like, everything is abstracted away from the user. So this money, this fund can then be transferred to the user, and they can basically use this on other Aptos dApps. Cool. By the way, I really like the idea, Shashank, like from a normal business standpoint as well, that you can actually make a cut of it and then you are also helping people on board. So that's a really nice implementation. Okay, so 16, the soul bound NFT based ticketing system. Okay, we propose the implementation of a Web3 based ticketing system utilizing non-transferable soul-bound NFTs, black market industry. So these unique tokens we establish secure and verifiable ownership model, eliminating the potential for unauthorized resale or counterfeit tickets. Web3 version of Ticketmaster, offering a modernized and trustworthy experience for event organizers and attendees alike. Through this innovative approach, we aim to revolutionize the ticketing industry, providing a seamless and trustworthy experience for all stakeholders involved. Hmm. Okay, this is a very interesting idea, but I also kind of am thinking that, like, just from purely from a business POV, uh, should this be soul bound or not? Like, while the idea of like moving it from unauthorized resale or counterfeit tickets sounds good, mostly actually what happens is these event organizers also make a ton of money with the resale and stuff. So what they kind of like, even from a blockchain point of view, what people would rather prefer is that if you want to resale, but if you resell also, then give me some royalty on it. So that is one thing that cannot be tracked if it is not blockchain technology friendly. But if it is, that is something that they can actually work around every time any like changing of hands happen, then some percentage again goes back to the original creator or organizer in this case, right? But yeah, this is interesting if we are talking about something that is very, very exclusive and that experience can only be availed by certain individuals, right? So that for those things, this would make sense. I would be interested to see if you can build an implementation for this where the SBT part can be something uh, that can either be like an optional thing or it can be modified at a later state as well. That would be like pretty interesting as a solution, like a very customizable or a very flexible solution that can be built. So a normal ticketing platform with the option to either make it NFT soul SBT based or not as SBT based or royalty based or some three four things, then I feel like it would be something that everyone would kind of go for if those implementation if that implementation is there. I do not think I need to explain much on this because this is like very well written. But yeah, if I have to write some stuff, so approach, uh, yeah, basically from a smart. Okay, 1 second. Smart. Yeah, hi, is there someone who wants to share something? We are talking about NFT tickets, PT, royalty, NFT, and then we are talking about uh, eliminating resale. You can also think of the first sale can be fixed price or auction based. You can build it like that, and mm, mm, and then just using some proper indexing to fetch and show stuff. I think that should be fair for this. Rest of the things, I mean, I would just leave because again, quite straightforward. Okay, so the next idea talks about social networking platform for Aptos. Apt Connect seamlessly integrates social networking functionalities, facilitating connections with friends, the ability to follow intriguing users, and engaging in dynamic conversations within the platform's vibrant community. Embark on a journey of personalized content discovery with Apt Connect, delivering content recommendations, insights into trending topics, and access to curated material that aligns with your specific interests. Okay, whoever has mentioned this has taken on a Herculean task, is what I would say. Okay, so folks, I would advise you to basically take a look at the Lens API because that gives a very good idea. Like this idea can be like very, very broad in that sense. Because you have to first think about minting NFT or SBT for the user identity, which will have certain metadata, and then we are talking about connections. So it's going to be between like two identities. This again will be another like main uh, structure over here. Essentially, like you'll have to think of CRUD on smart contract level for all of this. Then there will be posts. Again, uh, this will be posts. This will again be by a particular ID, and here also for posts you can have post can be tipped or collected as NFTs or Like you can think of other ways to do this as well. Um, for recommendations, because I've mentioned recommendations, this will also mean like working on an algorithm that can help to identify that first. So I got that can be based can be based on what your connections like, what kind of content you have previously tipped or collected as NFT, can be something else. So this is again something that you'll have to think. Insights into trending topics. So trending topics means that each post that is being made needs to be categorized, needs to have an attribute for category. So you can count the number of posts in each category and then filter the trending ones based on that. Now, again, this is a very brute force sort of a solutioning. Okay, better solution if you look at Twitter, right? It should be based on hashtags or these kind of things, some sort of tags, and then they count the this thing on the tags. But that would mean that you will have to go over all of the posts, words, and all of that to then get this and count this and then show that, and then based on that generate the trending topic. And then you're talking about access to curated material, which would mean that there needs to be certain NFT gatekeeping, NFT or token based gatekeeping. So, for example, if I need to follow someone, then I need to buy their token or NFT. Only then their posts are visible to me, something like this sort of a infra. So all in all, this would be like a huge idea. So what I would say is basically mark what all you want to do here. Just make a small list of tasks that you'll cover from here. Otherwise, like just from a realistic standpoint of the time you have, it might not be possible for you folks to complete this. Like if you go more broad rather than that, I would suggest go more depth first rather than breadth first, if that makes sense. uh, okay, cool. uh, okay, so just going over whoever is building what. Chain expense sharing photo to NFT, sorry to move, polls, music NFT platform, dynamic NFTs, communities. Okay, cool. Coming back, I want to share a couple of good resources because a lot of these uh, problems have the common theme of NFTs. I want to share a good resource with you. Let me share my screen. So I'm just like showing a couple of good example repositories that you can refer. So the first one is this Candy Machine on Move. This is a very good repository. So if you folks have worked with Solana, you will be familiar with the idea of candy machine. This is basically to ease out the entire experience of creating NFT, right? So what it does is, if you see it talks about deploying the contract, then let's just look at this particular function which says candy machine setup candy. This is the function, and just with this function you can pass on a lot of these arguments. Okay, if I start from the initial part only, so importing basically all of these client, account, transaction builder, all of these things, setting up the node and the faucet URL over DevNet, creating a new account for Alice and funding this account with one app, and then we are calling this particular function, which is NP function payload type, a setup candy, and it's attached to this particular address. And then we are giving these all of these arguments. Collection name, description. This would be like your CID, IPFS stuff, right? Royalty address, royalty points, denominator, numerator, pre-sale time, pre-sale price, public price, total supply, collection mutate setting, token mutate setting, any random number. So all of these arguments that you're setting there can very easily allow you to spin up like a collection essentially, like very very fast. It can allow you to create that candy machine with all of this information. Rather than if you see currently how if you use SDK, this is not the way you can do it. But through because they have created their own smart contract over it, you can very easily just use this and spin up stuff. So even for your photo to NFT project, NFT marketplace idea, the AI idea for NFT, uh, what else? This soulbound NFT ticketing platform idea, uh, even for this social networking idea. What else? Dynamic NFT for communities, learn to one plugin, in all music NFT, in all of these ideas, you can actually just use this, which can very easily allow you to start the this thing. It also has the option to create a whitelist. You can pass the addresses that are part of the whitelist. It allows you to mint the NFT. So again, specifying which address you want to mint the NFT to, and you can just do that. Similarly, here like creating the whitelist. So I'll just go over its smart contract really quickly. It'll just be using already existing stuff, right? So wouldn't be like something very different or something, but this can allow you to just very easily just do things over it rather than writing things again from scratch, which is the idea. Yeah, I will share the link after explaining this to Mira. So yeah, so it is using all of these different import statements, normal stuff from the standard libraries. Wouldn't get much into this. Uh, and they have defined candy machine as a struct with all of this different information which we are setting up in that particular function. A different struct for the whitelist for resource info, and this is the function init candy, which will basically be just moving, creating this particular resource and moving it with whatever information has been given here, creating the collection based on that. So this is essentially, and there are some errors that have also been defined here, where they're checking if the numerator is less than denominator. Like if it's greater than denominator, then you'll get the invalid argument because that should not be the case, and the denominator should be greater than zero, otherwise it's invalid. So some error messages are also set here. You can find the all the errors being set over here in all of these constants that you see, all of these, right? Um, and after that, this is another function, the create whitelist one, which is taking which particular candy machine you're talking about, what is the vector of addresses, that is a list of addresses, and a seed value for a randomization. account signer, creating a resource account and then pushing back in this particular list or whatever is the data from the whitelist. This is what is happening over here. Uh, this create resource account is where they need the seed value. Um, and then their mint script. This is to mint the NFT. So again, they are just this particular resource account. They're getting the data from the Candy machine over here. They're getting it in a mutable format because it's borrow global mute. Verifying if it's like paused or not. If it's paused, then it should not be allowed. And if the minted this thing is equal to total supply or not, that means whether the collection has been sold out or not. If it has been sold out, then the mint NFT part should not be allowed. Then you're getting the length of the whitelist accounts, getting the base URI, getting the minted data, all of these data after getting appending and like getting the actual uh, uh, particular string for this. Then they're just going over the length of the whitelist account. Mm, checking if it is in that particular time or not, checking if the address that we are talking about is already whitelisted or not, getting the mint price for the pre-sale, and again checking if the mint price is equal to the public sale mint price, and if the sale has started or not, and then creating the token script, passing all of this information, and then minting and transferring the token. Uh, Also, whatever price for the token needs to be transferred is going to the receiver's address. This particular sheet I have shared already. I'll share this sheet and this link as well for this particular example that we are solving. Just give me a minute. Let me just complete this explanation. This is pretty simple. This is a border global mute where they are setting the pause mint to be true, resume mint so pause is being set to false, update the candy machine. So all of this information they're taking in again and they're updating it with checks which would make sense, like these ones, right? So mutate one token, again taking certain information and then modifying based off of it, like the account address, resource data, candy data. So based on that, they are again modifying this token data URI. Later on, if the data URI is changing, they can modify that. They can modify the property. So this is a very very helpful thing in my opinion for you to just directly use in your projects than coding things up from scratch. This can help save on time, save some time. In fact, if you want to do things even at a more core level from the sources, then you can modify it and create your own version 2 of this candy machine as well. So adding some more features over it. So yeah, maybe add like an option to auction or something like that. That would be pretty cool. I have just pasted the link to this particular candy machine. I'll also share the link to this remarks doc as well. Give me a second. So this is with edit link, folks. Please not remove anything so that it's helpful and useful to everyone else. Okay, so this is one repository that I wanted to show you. Uh, yeah, is there something that anyone wants to say? Okay. Another idea that I want to share is basically around this launchpad thing, blockchain based crowdfunding launchpad. So there are a couple of repositories that are currently like available and are open sourced. So actually, let me just share another screen. So this is basically a list of all of the ecosystem projects under the Aptos Foundation. You can find it over here. So so it talks around across all of these different domains. So we have bridges, we have DeFi, all of these projects. So you can see couple of them have their GitHub, couple of them don't. So you can actually open the GitHub, go through it, get an understanding of how they have written the code, or take inspiration from it and apply your particular use case over it. Explorers, gaming projects, infrastructure projects, launch pads, marketplaces, NFT tooling, security, social, stable coins, other tooling, wallets. So all of these things are here. Maybe I will see your project over here as well. You can actually raise a PR with whatever is your project, GitHub URL, etc., etc. Post this particular fellowship. I would be sure to make sure that you get a lot of noise on your particular tweet or whatever, and people notice your work. So let me just share this with you folks. Um, all right. Coming back to the example, so I think couple of things we can see post this uh, would be. Give me a second. Let me actually see what to share with you. Okay, folks, want to share this Launchpad example project with you. Let me also share link for this. Let me see if I can actually start linking a couple of these things here only. So, okay, so over here, if you see, um, so this is basically the Launchpad offering that we have made. Again, taking some import statements over here. They have defined some error codes. User status, offering coin register event, buy event claim ticket event duration, config structure with a sale coin and a raise coin type. Okay. Which takes fundraiser, which is the address, the registration duration, the sale duration, the log duration, and the numerator and denominator. So I guess they are setting like what is the coin that is being exchanged for what is being like that one is equal to X amount is being set over here and expect sale amount. Then they have defined a pool which is taking this config that we have set over here, ticket amount, sales, like to sell, raise, which are the coins that are being talked about here, and these are all for the events. So again, the here we are just maintaining the events: the pool initialization event, the deposit to sell event, withdraw raise funds event. Okay, initialize pool. So this is basically that. Um, you are raising some funds by giving out some particular X tokens of your own, and this is to like withdraw that particular amount, and this is to deposit to buy that particular token. This is to initialize the pool. So they have defined a manager for the raise, the fundraiser, the registration time duration, the sale time duration, the lock duration, numerator to monitor, expect sale amount. This is similar to the config. And then they are checking for things over here and just like giving out the error codes wherever that should be the case. Uh, Creating the pool with our config and all of these other information that is required. Setting, emitting that particular event. Deposit to sell where they are whatever is the coin that like they are the one that is being bought over here, um, and then emitting that particular event. Mm, Getting the pool, mutating it, and accordingly changing, merging it with these two values. This is to register whoever is registering the user status modified, and the pool ticket amount is then modified based on this. An event is emitted that event has been registered, and the user status is again merged. This ticket user status of ticket is merged with this coin withdraw event for the user and the ticket. This is just the buy event for that. They're modifying a couple of different things here with the user status, emitting that particular event, and whatever amount is being raised that is being modified, and the whatever they are giving for that is also being modified. The to sell and the raised values are being modified. Claim ticket, withdraw raise funds. And then these are all the test functions where they are calling all of these different actions First setting the config, then the fundraiser is depositing, user is paying the offering coin to register, user is buying the coin, fundraiser is withdrawing the coin, and user is waiting to release the offering coin. And then there's some this to do that they have added here as well. Uh, so yeah, these are a bunch of different test events that they have defined over here. But this is basically the structure that is there for the launchpad. This does need to be modified a little bit because this does not capture the second half of how people are getting the annual returns based on whatever money is being made. So, but this is still a good example to get started. So, I'm just gonna link it over here. Okay, so that's another project covered, which was this launchpad one. Let me actually find one for the ticketing one as well. So give me a minute. Okay, just checking out this particular example for the NFT ticket. In my opinion, this is just like very similar to what you can do with the candy machine. In fact, like with the candy machine, I think you might be able to do even beyond whatever is mentioned over here. But I'm still gonna link it as an example for you folks to go through. Not gonna go and share my screen because I feel like this would be kind of repetitive over the candy machine stuff. But yeah, this can be a good example for the ticketing platform. Would love to hear from you folks on any particular doubts that you have or anything that you want me to talk about in terms of all of these ideas that are there. Hi folks, you can write in the comments if there are any particular ideas that you want me to go into or share anything based on that.